Okay, while we were starting the new video there, my friend here said this one's going good. I think he's right. I went to college briefly, and one of my professors, I had about 2 of 5 that were crappy overall, but one of them did teach a little something that had nothing to do with statistics, and that was if you want to get people's attention, you go with money, sex, and he said death, but I would say danger.
Violence.
Mm-hmm. And that's what's happening.
Ooh, that stuff sells.
We started talking about the difference in TV in yesteryear and today, and we got into MMA.
I was going to segue back to the TV thing by saying, you mentioned educational programming.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know about you, but I grew up watching PBS. 3, 2, 1, contact. Contact is the reason, is the answer, why everything happens. Contact. Let's make contact, right? But Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Electric Company. Did you say that already?
Electric Company, Square One, Math, Square One TV, Sesame Street.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of went and did your school thing, and then you came home in the afternoon and you
got some
watched
reinforcement in a funner way. Yeah.
And then maybe you could segue to PBS because they still showed some children's programming at night here and there.
Mm.
Kind of in the evening.
Yeah, I remember Sesame Street would come on twice.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then all summer you just sat around and watched PBS.
Yeah.
And that was your school.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
During the summer, you learned from Mr. Rogers. You learned from all that. And people laugh at me about the Mr. Rogers thing, but that dude was like my teacher, man.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the morals and stuff that I have now are thanks to that guy.
Mm-hmm.
My imagination.
Mm-hmm.
He's very encouraging to kind of
yeah.
And I think that we need stuff like that now. People are so unimaginative
mm-hmm.
these days because role playing, RPGing, Dungeons and Dragons, systems like that. You try and get somebody who's like a video gamer into that, and they just can't even think outside the box. I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you can do anything in this world. Just here's the room, here's what it's like. This is in here. This is going on.
Yeah.
Tell me what you want to do, and they can't even
kind of brain dead.
Yeah. It's
And I want the viewers and listeners to understand that I do play some video games. Not much first-person shooter, or basically none. I'm not a big gamer. But I do my share of sitting in front of a computer wasting away hours. So I'm not better than you.
No.
I just don't play all the new hip video games. It's just not my thing.
Right. And I certainly don't like simulators. If I'm going to play a game, I need it to be fun. I don't need to be like,
absolutely. Absolutely.
That's not a game.
Yeah, I can remember in the 80s they had maybe a 2020 type of thing. It may have been John Stossel, but I'm not sure about that. But anyway, they were letting the guy play an arcade game, the stand-up 80s style arcade game. This was back in the 80s, of course. They said that. And they were taking his blood pressure while he was doing this, and he kept getting mad because he kept dying. He was new to the game, of course. So they were so that was kind of the point of it. He's like, really? This is fun? I can just sit here getting pissed off over and over. I think maybe that was your point.
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, why would you... And really, what's the point? Like you said, it's probably... some of those guys are good with guns and stuff, but it might not even make you a better shot.
Right.
Improve your
Yeah, you still have to use the real thing. It's not like they make the controller like an actual...
Well, they do.
But most of it's not.
Yeah, most of it's not. You gotta spend money on that, and your parents probably aren't gonna, and
Yeah.
Why? I'm not necessarily saying people shouldn't sit down and watch TV together or play games together or anything like that. Again, I think we just think that programming and games have sort of either been dumbed down or, now maybe, there's always that silver lining and they've decided that people are maturing a little earlier than they really aren't, in my opinion, but maturing a little earlier, and now they can see these shows. We can put this more violent stuff on TV, and it's going to be the parents' responsibility ultimately to make sure the kids don't watch it, or if they do watch it, they understand like what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
And we put a damn rating on thing up in the corner. So, you know, if you call in and complain I worked for I shouldn't be saying the company anymore, but I worked for a very popular satellite TV provider, right? And you remember that movie, The Butterfly Effect?
I don't know that.
Well, there's this implied, like, you know, pedophile kind of scene in it, where the guy, like, takes advantage of his daughter and her friend, right? And, of course, if you watch the movie out, he fixes that, right, by doing his little time thing. But literally, like, we had people calling in, like, how come you didn't warn me that this was in this movie? You know, and it's like, I mean, this is the provider, like, you know, but you need to, like, talk to Paramount, or if you have a problem with the movie.
Yeah. They warned you in some way.
Yeah,
somebody
exactly.
did somewhere along the way.
Exactly. I mean, there's all those ratings on there, and it's like...
And it tells you all the various
at the beginning of anything, on any type of site, it says, you know, implied pedophilia, you know, or whatever, you know, like, there's, this is what's in this.
Specifically.
Sexual situations, you know, whatever. And you still have people that, it's like, you just ignore that? Like, you know, we take the time to put this before this for you, and you don't.
Yeah.
Like, you think it's a joke.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean,
it won't be that bad.
That was a very important scene for that movie too. I mean, that, like, but you know, usually people are like, you know, fuck this, and like, I'm gonna call a company right now, and we're always saying, like, did you watch the whole movie? No, I didn't want to watch something with that filth. Okay, well, it didn't actually happen. Like, it didn't actually happen. If you just watch it, you know. Like, it never, you know, I know what you're getting at, but, like, just, when people, like, jump to conclusions, people don't pay attention to ratings, people get upset that their kid saw something they shouldn't see, when ultimately, like you said, you can't really control anything
all
anymore.
the time, yeah.
You know, I mean, what if they go, like you said, what if they go to a friend's house, what if they're sitting behind a computer watching YouTube? So I guess the question is, do TV and games need to change again? Or does parenting need to come along a little more?
It's not likely to go backwards from what we know. But how about, I don't know, this is maybe off the subject of the question you're asking right now, but just think, dude, Monty Pythons in the 60s used to show breasts on English public.
Yeah,
and that's Europe.
Britain's
At
come a
10,
long ways.
like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
They were showing that, and you know there were boys watching that all the time. I would have been right there with them.
Let's watch the Monty Python tonight.
Yeah.
Mother, can I watch the Monty
They go
Python
to
tonight?
the,
No, dear, you can't watch the Monty
They
Python
have-
because of all the boobies.
they intentionally have their sleepover at the richest, most
So
neglected
stay
child's
up and watch Monty
in his
Python.
room or whatever.
Yeah, and maybe you'll get to see a little piece of boob or ass or
Yeah. Even though they were sucking on one at the age of
Yeah.
0.
And, you know, I have a lot of British friends from when I was in China, and, like, they were telling me pretty much the only thing you can't show on British TV right now is an erect penis.
Wow.
You can show a flaccid one.
Crazy.
You can show a vagina. You can show...
But again, that's probably later on in the evening, right? I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's not.
I didn't ask that. But the thing is, if I were a dad... You're not a dad, are you? Okay. If I were a dad, I wouldn't be worried about my son or daughter seeing a naked woman.
Someone naked, yeah. It's natural.
I would be worried about them seeing a very weird act,
Mhm.
like bestiality or, you know...
Or even people having sex.
Yeah, I mean, people having sex, it depends on the sex, I guess. I mean, I don't know how, I have to feel that one out when it happens, but, like, just my kid, like, getting online and, like, you know, seeing a picture of a naked woman, like, oops, sorry, buddy, you know, I'm a little young for that yet, you know, but it wouldn't necessarily, like, bother me, but, like, you know, if I, like, went to his computer and saw him looking at, like, some chick going down on a dog or something, I'd be like, buddy, we gotta have a little talk, you know. that. But I'm not. I might not be like every parent.
Yeah.
You know, even my parents were pretty. You remember that? And this is another good point. Just because it's animated doesn't mean it's for kids.
Right.
I don't know if you guys remember that movie Heavy Metal. I mean, everybody probably remembers Heavy Metal. Your kids shouldn't be seeing that.
Right.
Yeah, it's animated, but like
Mm-hmm.
that's an art form. That's a type of It's a type of media.
Yeah.
You know, it. I don't even like the word cartoon.
Right.
You know, animated feature, animated film.
Mm-hmm.
This is an animated series.
Yeah.
Because bring the whole Adult Swim thing back into things.
Yeah.
You know, they have animated series that are for adults. You know, you I don't even think your 14-year-old should be watching
Right.
all the time. You remember that show Gargoyles?
Mm-hmm.
Gargoyles was a great show.
I didn't watch a lot of them, but I know what you're talking about.
But I don't know that, like, even that show, I would be quite comfortable letting my really young kids see.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Yeah, like they're 4 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was for 7-year-olds and up, but, like, even then, like, you know, it would be a little scary. There's
Little demon-looking guys.
You know, David and Fox in that have a kid. I mean, she's pregnant a while. I mean, how do you think that went down? You know, I mean, they didn't show it happening in the show, but so even something that seems tame and is for young kids could be a little like, how'd she get pregnant, Daddy? Well, they just started drawing her that way, sweetie.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. But media. I think media's changed in a way
Mm-hmm.
is not like it used to be.
Absolutely no.
And I don't know that that's bad.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm freaking
I know, but like it's sort of like we kind of come to we've kind of come to a close here.
Yeah.
But
That's okay.
you know what? I guess what we want to know from you guys is
Does it need to be more restrained by law?
what do you think about the state of media and where it's gone? And I should point out that, you know, me and another friend of mine are working on this animated show. I mean, we've been working on it a while. It's definitely not going to be for kids. So, you know, I could very well be guilty of this kind of thing. But again, I don't have any intention to have kids watch it.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, really, the
I know they're
Flintstones was a primetime
And
show.
kind
It
of
was
raunchy
meant for
sometimes.
adults, probably. Looney Tunes really weren't all that funny to me. They're funnier now to me than they were a lot of times than they were when I was a kid, even though I watched the hell out of them. Or, I was thinking about this yesterday, I think Tom and Jerry is quite violent.
Pretty violent, yeah.
I watched the hell out of it, and I don't think it made me more violent.
Right, so, you know, I'm saying that, but like maybe we're wrong a little bit. There
Right.
has been some violent programming, you know, even animated.
Mm-hmm.
I saw one episode of Tom and Jerry, now that you bring it up, a few months ago, where they were waiting in heaven for people, and all of a sudden, next in line is this sack full of kittens.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, oh, wow, man. And the guy waiting for him was like, you must be blah, blah, and blah. And they're like, yeah. And he's like, what a shame.
Wow.
And it was kind of sad. It was like...
Yeah, well, I guess, yeah, when you get unwanted kittens in the old days in the country, or maybe, I guess, certainly people
sack
still
them,
do
throw
that.
them in the river.
Yeah.
People do that in South Texas still.
Yeah.
I can vouch for it. I've never done that.
No.
I would never do that to an animal. I might take them to a shelter,
Yeah.
you know, and let them have a chance. But
Here in the past
30
year,
seconds.
okay, I saw what happens to country cats, so I don't know that given a choice as a cat or whatever, how you can put it, that I would rather drown than seeing the way these 2 female cats were, their faces were all torn up because they've been raped by male cats. So, because they started out in a barn and they ended up getting put out, and they were country cats for real, and they got tore
Yeah, I've
up.
seen some messed up cats.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, tell us what you think. I mean, we're really looking to have some more comments on these videos and everything and all that. Have a good night.
Nighty night.